Right, it's Head Coach Ross, the ATACX Gym. You already know that. What we're about to do here is begin the basic grappling skills. Yes, there are real-world self-defense, comprehensive grappling skills in the fighting system that you've been improperly informed is called capoeira. And the reason why you haven't learned them comprehensively is because your teachers don't know the real deal, no matter what they have to say. Okay, I'm going to begin this grappling skills from the ground upwards, And I'm going to correlate these movements, not only with movements that you've seen before in cardio capoeira, but I will also coordinate them with the relevant orishas as well, and how this information corresponds directly to the instruction you're getting here. All right, so with that in mind, let's go straight to work. Now, why is it that we start learning grappling skills here on the ground in other areas such as Brazil and Southeast Asia or what have you, whereas we don't see these movements so rampant in the motherland? There's an excellent answer for that, and I'll give you the answer to it right after I finish these drills. I want you to pick this up first, okay? The first and most basic drill that we use here, I'm going to turn this way and then I'm going to turn horizontal so you can see it. I want you to see my feet first. Okay, the first and most basic drill that we use here is the basic bridge and roll. Elbows in tight, feet close to your butt bone here. All right, select the side, hook one leg, hook another leg. Just bring both feet in, strong base, elbows in. You know, head up, protecting your face. Don't keep your head straight down where you can get your head knocked right off, bounce right off from the ground. Here you can at least move, and if you get your head hit, you can turn. You know, you can get knocked into the ground here as well. But if your head is here, straight like this, let me turn horizontally here. Your head is here like this. Not only is your head easily knocked, you're presenting your throat as a target. Whereas if your head is up a bit and your hands are protecting your face, your shoulders are rolling, you're a more difficult target. So if your head gets hit, you can turn, bounce off, and deflect the force of the blows, if worse comes to worse, okay? So now, here's the basic expression here. Drawing your feet in, inhaling, and then all you're gonna do is do two basic versions of this movement. The first is the hip pop original. At least that's how it translates into English. Here, okay? And the other way. Head turn this way. Check the points of contact, rolling. Your head touches the ground. Point of contact with your head and your shoulder. Going the other way. Rolling here. 2 points of contact, head and shoulder. Arms in tight, hips turning. The other way I do this is I hook a foot. Like if I'm going to bridge him this way to my left, I'll hook his foot if he's seated on me, if he's mounted, and then I'll drop my knee, and then I'll bridge in this direction. Now you have 3 points of contact: knee, shoulder, and head. The advantage here is your hips don't come off the ground. Your hips stay. Your hips stay off the ground, stay onto the ground, which makes it much harder for your opponent to slide to your back. I'll show you this later with the partner drills. To slide to your back, insert a hook, and then choke you unconscious. Because you're turning here, there's no space for him to slide to your back and choke you unconscious. But you're still forcing him to the side that you want him to be. If you turn head down, you're still forcing him here. He has to go. Okay? All right. The third version, all right, I'm going to show you in just a moment. The third version is this. You'll keep your hips down, elbows in like regular, head up, shoulders moving, arms defending, grabbing, parrying, blocking, okay? Moving your body, breathing here, and then what happens here is you wind up dropping this knee down like you're going to do the regular 3-point, but this foot steps over your heel, bases by your left knee, and this foot straightens out. This is a version of the MC Mamo Shosi. It's also a version of the Gayu mountain pose, foot of the mountain. Really low, turning here, really low. So the similarity comes not only in this useless function, but also spiritually speaking, in the spiritual systems. Many spiritual systems, Oshosi is the son of Agayu, so they all have a similarity of technique, similarity of technique because they're family. So oftentimes their techniques are very complementary in the same way that family DNA is complementary. Okay, so head down, breath, elbows in tight,
drop the elbow, drive, step over with this foot, shoot your hip down. The advantage that this gives is that this movement here gives is that you can turn right over right here, right now, without the extra space. You can come right up, you can move away. You're turning here, at this point here, without crossing your foot over. When you drop your knee here, this foot, without doing this, the way the attack normally works is that the left palm touches, right palm touches, you come up in a dog-like position here. And then from here, with your weight flexed back on the balls of your heels, then from here, you pop up to whatever position you have to be in. You drive forward, you step back, whatever you need to do from that position, okay? So the advantage here is breathing here, stepping over the imsimamo, the kuminyani shosi style, knee in. Right here, breathe, you're turning right here. It's a shorter movement. But requires more of a step on the other arm, other leg. You have to bring the other leg over, okay? Now I'm going to show you these things and leave these as they are. I'm going to point out to you that you'll be able to see me do some of these movements. A little bit later on in the instructional, you'll see me execute this movement with my cousin. When I show you that we can actually do this solo without music and with partner, and actually grapple to the sound of the beats, the music. So contrary to what you've been told, you can in fact grapple to the toque of the hungu, which is miscalled the bimbao in Brazil. So I want you to be aware of that. And then we'll start connecting these movements. We'll start putting layers and stacks of movements on top of it. But right now, I want you to be aware of these movements and drill it in this way, in this fashion. Down, here, hands up, palms facing opponent, elbows in tight. Okay? Bringing your feet, heels down, close to your butt cheeks. Inhaling, exhaling. First thing you start doing is moving your shoulders in a rolling fashion. You're on your shoulder blades. Your back is not scraping onto the ground. This gives you movement. You're pushing against your opponent's palms. You're blocking, you're striking, you're pushing, you're grabbing, you're counter grabbing. Okay? When you deem the time correct, when your opponent gives you the energy of attempting to counter what you're doing, that is when you make the choice to whether to, from the movement, pop your hips as high as you can get to drive his head over your own head, all right? And then turn to the 2-point position, head and shoulder to the ground, roll all the way over, heels flex back, as you move back, get space, palm down on it, allows you to put your feet if you need to, all the way up, or to continue any one of the positions or the stances you need to progress, to defend, or transition, okay? We'll get into those other moves a little bit later. The other option, I want you to do that for 3 rounds of 3 minutes. I want you to go on each side. So the first minute and a half of your first round, I want you to focus bridging only to your left. 2 points, knee, hips up, knees not dropping, the hips are up, palms touch the ground. Here. Notice that in this one, the knee, the hips up, the knee did not drop down, the knee stayed up. 2 points of contact, the forehead and shoulder, and you're turning over, hips turning down toward the ground, hips turning down toward the ground, palms touch here. Okay? Do that for the first minute and a half. The second minute and a half, you're going to the right side, same thing. Head and shoulders moving, defending, pressing, grabbing, get some punches off if you can, blocking, moving, breathing, judge the time correct. Bring both your heels as close as you can to your butt. Shoot your hips with power, like you're trying to drive your own hips past your own forehead into the ground above the top of your head. Roll towards your right shoulder. The tip of your head, the top of your head touches the ground. Point of your right shoulder is on the ground. You push with your arms. The hips turn. This palm touches the ground, and the hips turn over. hips up, touch the ground. You turn, see the step? Turning the hips down, face the hips down toward the ground. Driving here. If you're going back toward your heel. Not here, don't stand here. Your energy is going back toward your butt, driving your butt toward your heels. Here, keeping you low. Your hands pressing against the bicep of your opponent, his chest. If you can't get to his biceps, if he's too long, when you press your energy back here, raise your hands up and protect your head. Make certain you protect your limbs from submissions. Make certain he doesn't have any weapons or friends around. You're able to continue to move. Do not point your toes when you sit down here. If you can possibly avoid that, don't point your toes. Flex here because it makes it easier for you to move. If you point your toes, you still have to raise up, flex up to move. So you start here. It makes it easier for you to move in an unbroken flow of energy here. All right? So, first minute and a half, bridging to your left. Second minute and a half, bridging to your right. 3 minutes, I want 3 3-minute rounds, okay? You've seen me do this, like I said, it's very movement. You've seen me do this while grappling with my cousin a little bit later on. So if you need to see a visual expression of how I'm doing this, what I mean, connect the solo drill to its actual application, you can fast forward a little bit and see me doing this technique with my cousin Kent inside the gym, all right? Okay, let's go to work.